as we will with other challenges that people have done after we challenged them, John.
That's right. Certainly looking forward to this week's challenges. But for now, we're going to have a look back on the last couple of weeks on some of the challenges that other people have attempted since we tagged them to. First up is Cindy Ong, who did the sit-ups challenge. Now, this was a challenge I think you scored really well in. You did 1 per second. It's 15.
Yes.
I didn't do that well as with many of the challenges that I did. I think I did like 10 or 11. I even dropped my feet and touched the ground, so that didn't really count.
Well, thank you, Cindy, for getting involved. The next one, of course, is the high plank coin toss challenge, which you didn't hit the last one, but I think we had Vera here.
Yeah, and you had all 3.
Yes.
So basically, Duncan clocked across all 3 jars that scored him 6 points. Great job.
Great job.
Yeah.
Vera, well done with that. And then moving on, last week we did the shoe boxes and we had different variations of the challenge, and we had Kingsley, who was recently on episode with us on Evenings with John and Duncan. He got involved with the shoebox challenge as well.
Yeah, definitely. 7 was the level to hit. Of course, some difficulty stacking up 7 shoeboxes, as you can tell here. But this is nothing for Kingsley. We've seen some of his challenges. He's cleared heights that are much higher than this. And of course, the person who started this this edition of the Level Up Challenge, the Shoebox Edition, Kirsten Ong, national hurdler Kirsten Ong, saw our efforts, and including Kingsley's efforts, and she felt the need to raise the bar to 8 shoeboxes.
Now, you know the reason why she raised the bar to 8, right? Because she did 7, and she thought no one will hit 7.
Yeah.
You did, Kingsley did, and then she felt, you know, I created this challenge. I need to be bossing it. And so she did 8.
Definitely.
It's ridiculous.
Talk about competitiveness, but that's what we expect in our Team Singapore athletes. Now, we've seen a lot of home workouts over this entire period, Duncan. But one thing we've not exactly seen as much is little kids keeping fit and still playing sports at home.
That's right. Actually, you know, they've been at home. They've done the HBL, their home-based learning. But have they done their home-based workouts? Well, they have, according to the videos that we've seen on the internet.
Well, this very first one that we have coming up involves tennis. And this is, to be honest, this is a sport that I never expect you could do at home. Football, yes, you know, I've done that growing up. I played it. But tennis, this is something that I could totally imagine my parents screaming at me for. And not only is he doing it well and playing in like a typical tennis fashion, he's scoring points in what I would say is it's a gamified version of it, like scoring through hoops, trying to knock down cones at the top of shelves, and just talk about creative ways to keep yourself busy and still honing your tennis skills right at home. And judging by this series, I think you can tell that this boy is definitely serious about this sport.
Hand-eye coordination on point, but you have to say he's doing fantastic. But for the dad, a nominee for Dad of the Year, setting everything up with the obstacles and you know, trying to just keep their kids engaged with tennis.
Exactly, and look, even the sisters getting involved here. Perfect way to hone your fundamental movement skills.
I'm just wondering if she found a gap right above his head that would just go outside of the window, wouldn't it?
Yes, you never. It could have just been that right there, and you know that would have been bingo, right? You know, right on the money. Of course, tennis was not just the only sport that we've seen kids try out at home, and we've always had this big question going on in Singapore, saying, you know, not as many, you know, sports is not something that's big among kids. But I really beg to differ. At the youngest level, kids, most Singaporean kids, many of them are active. They want to try new sports, and many are actually happy to try new sports. And I think it's great that we have parents who are so supportive of this. The next one coming up, of course, we also have is from basketball. It's from none other than Hayden, who featured in the signing of Delvin Goh as our Sports Singapore ambassador. That series, who goes by the moniker or the Instagram handle Bad Boy.
Wow.
And showing off his skills there, not just double dribbling, but even push-ups. I don't recall myself doing any push-ups or being able to do push-ups at that age.
I was not able to do any push-ups. And he's doing it on the ball as well.
Literally on the ball.
He is on the ball.
Literally on the ball.
It wasn't intentional, but it just worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, great stuff, Hayden. And the final one is golf. Now, how do you play golf at home? Well, obviously you have the mini putt when you kind of like practice your putt, but you're not a big swing. But it's something that even kids are doing at home, John.
Well, it's certainly a sport that I know I'm definitely not good at. The only variation of it that I attempted a few years back was football golf, which maybe we should throw to on one of our episodes, but
maybe
this is definitely something we should consider in next time if you have the time, but unfortunately not in Singapore.
I love the celebration as well.
Yeah, talk about passion for sport.
She has the calm demeanor, nerves of steel, something we didn't showcase in the Milo Cans challenge. She probably would have done much better in the Milo Cans challenge than us, but it's all about concentration, taking your time, technique, something we didn't exhibit earlier on, but that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And these are, it's great to see kids keeping active at home, keeping sports within their blood, and you may never know, we may see a future. But tennis, basketball, or golf star in the making.
Well, judging by this series of videos, I definitely think that's a possibility. Now, coming up next, of course, we've seen kids doing workouts at home. We've seen other variations of workouts as well, by athletes, by fitness instructors.
Yeah.
But one particular genre that probably crosses between art and sport is that of freestyle. We did talk about Stylo My Milo earlier.
Yes.
So not just in one particular sport, but now we have a few sports.
Hey, it's just about, leveling up on what the basics are in a certain sport. Like football, juggling is the basic. That's what you're taught as a footballer growing up. But then you level it up by doing tricks and flicks. And in every sport, you're seeing it. Even we have our own Shahid who did it with the racket and trying different things. And here we have Daryl Lowe from XP, and it's like with his shin and with his knee that he's juggling.
It's pretty crazy stuff. Of course, Daryl...
Sorry, that's intentional as well. Most of us, when we juggle, we hit the knee unintentionally.
Yeah, because I think to the untrained eye, may think that this guy has terrible control.
Yeah.
But actually, those are intentional. It's using the smallest surface area possible, which is the shin, to control the ball. And of course, this comes from years and years of training.
Wow.
Daryl, of course, the founder of XP, and of course, we two other Sports Singapore ambassadors, Sean and Valerie, who are also part of this trio of freestyle footballers. We hope to see more of these coming soon, by the way.
It's like playing football with a dance, huh?
We should probably get them on our show and do some challenges as well.
They should do the challenge, and then after that they go and do the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man.
Some creative ways of expressing sport, and just look at that crazy stuff. So
I'm just worried a car will come at some point here.
Of course, we also have Coach G from basketball showing off some skills in the basketball edition of freestyle. And here, let's have a look at it. Okay, this one, Coach G, and then this one, of course, even in the comfort of your home. Of course, we did talk about annoying your neighbors downstairs when you're playing basketball at home, but I think he's got a good mix of indoors and outdoors as well. And
how do you defend against this? I mean, like, if you're a player and you were going up against him on court, like, with all the tricks and flicks, is like the equivalent of a footballer, a defender going up against Neymar in a way. Like, this is just ridiculous. And hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, if you weren't to take a second to look, it just seems so easy and so simple to do, but it takes a lot of control and technique to be able to execute this at such a speed.
Oh no, it's practice, and that makes perfect, and great to see. I love freestyle. It just brings a smile to your face when you watch it, doesn't it? So, talking about bringing a smile to our faces, we had Martina Veloso on our episode not too long ago, when very in-depth interview with her on how she's doing at now, right now with COVID-19, her training sessions. But did we find out everything that we needed to know in that interview? It's a very short
Yeah.
interview that we have. We could spend hours with all our athletes. But she did her own Q&A recently. And yeah, she just did it on her own. And it's just ask anything about Martina Veloso. And this is just a little clip of what happened, because the whole clip is very, very long. You can go and check out her Instagram. But just a snippet of what you missed if you did not know about what Martina Veloso was all about.
Today I will be doing the Ask Me Anything video. I asked you guys on my Instagram story to ask me any questions you'd like to know more about me or anything in general. What's your favorite Singapore food, or what do I miss eating when I'm overseas? I don't have a particular favorite Singaporean food because all the food in Singapore is so good. If I have to choose, I'll just think of when I step into a hawker center. I will look out for Hokkien Mee. For a snack, I would love to get opia. What's the silver lining for me during this circuit breaker? I guess reevaluating my goals for the next year now that some of them have been disrupted due to the pandemic. And another thing would be spending time with my family. Because of my constant traveling for the sport, I am barely home. This is a great time for me to spend with them. What happened to Sparkling Raindrops? Sparkling Raindrops has evolved into a proper username because I felt like it was time for me to just become more professional after 7 years. And no, I did not kidnap her, she's still the same person. The cities you have been to, which would you recommend as a must-go and why? I can't judge them all the same because when I travel for shooting competitions, I cannot travel as though I'm on a holiday because I am there for a competition and I'm not there to play. So we'll just choose from my own experience when I go on vacations. And number one would be Bali. I've been to Bali a few times. It used to be my go-to vacation when I was younger, before I got competitive in the sport. I went to Bali, I think when I was 11. For 1 month, I traveled around the whole island. Do you call it island? Yeah, I traveled around the whole island for 1 month with my family. Really liked the place because they are so rich in culture. Food is good. Another thing is it has beaches and it's near to home, so it's not too bad for me. It's only about 3 hours. This is 3 hours. A 3-hour flight from Singapore. As I travel more for competitions, I appreciate countries that is closer to home. So when a trip is still in Asia, about 8-hour flight, I'm like, okay, that's considered quite short already. Bali's one of them.
These athletes are just keeping themselves entertained and trying to interact with their followers.
Yeah.
Martina, relax, okay? We will do the interviews and you answer them. Don't try to take our jobs away from us. But great stuff as well, and we wish you all the best in the future, especially now that the circuit breaker is over, and we're looking to move into phase 2 slowly, and hopefully that will come sooner than later.
Definitely, we're all looking forward, of course, to a safe transitioning into the next phase. Of course, hopefully with sports events also coming along gradually, phase 2 and phase 3, and things can go back. Maybe not to the old normal, but towards a new normal.
Yeah. And speaking of recent appearances on Evenings with John and Duncan, we had the hockey edition recently with Jean and Enrico. Great episode. You need to watch that if you missed it. And in that particular episode, we had the challenge, how many can you name in 30 seconds? With a twist, of course, as they were juggling a hockey ball, right?
Yeah.
Well, Singapore hockey, I think, took some inspiration from that, and
we like to think so. We like to think so.
And have started their own challenge with a hockey juggling contest, and you have to just do as many as you can, and then just send it over to Singapore Hockey Federation, and then they will feature you.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy because they didn't have to name anything in 30 seconds. They just had to juggle. But great to see that. They're being creative as well. So Singapore Hockey Federation, good on ya. We have a video to show you, and this is an example of what.
It's highly skilled as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it's like freestyle as well.
I believe, yeah, freestyle as well. So it's a different level of technique, I would say. And I do believe for this particular contest, there's also a hoodie that's up for grabs, if I'm not wrong.
Oh.
And all you have to do is to follow Singapore Hockey and Active SG Hockey or something, and and just upload a video of yourself doing the juggle challenge. I believe it's part of a series that will be coming up.
Now, for the athletes who are stuck at home, obviously, during this period, I mean, some athletes are now being able to train slowly if they have qualified for the Olympics or if they're close to qualifying for the Olympics or Paralympics. Like for the floorball players, they're still stuck at home, and it's hard to play at the void deck, you know, your hockey training, because the worry is you might damage your equipment. You know, your floorball stick.
Yeah, the blade.
So,
that,
but Jean-Marc Soretta, Singapore national team men's floorball player, did very well in the SEA Games for the national team. He's come up with a creative way of, you know, preserving your floorball stick. And here is an example of what he's doing. It's like it's just a different kind of flooring that he's put there, and you know it's hitting against the wall again, annoying the hell out of people walking around the neighborhood. But this is great stuff. And you know you are preserving your equipment, and you come back and fitter, sharper.
yeah.
And I think we've seen during this period, John, our athletes, whether it be floorball, whether it be hockey, football, I think in team sports in general, they've come up with different creative ways to keep training, and that's just passion for the sport there for you.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that really sticks out for me right here is that he's wearing his floorball jersey. And I do not know what's the reason behind it, but I had a few things in my mind.
Okay.
Because you could just be walking along downstairs at the void deck and you see someone doing this wearing some other attire. And you're just thinking, what the heck is this person doing?
Yeah.
So it's probably trying to tell you, I'm a sportsman and I'm doing this as part of my training.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of like takes away a few questions and people will not like give you like a weird glances for doing so. I know, just a thought.
Actually,
Just
you're pretty accurate in that.
Or,
Yeah.
or he could be just very passionate about the club or the team that he represents.
I think I would say both. I would say both. Jean-Marc, I think he's a very passionate person. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think that was evident in the Philippines in the SEA Games. So good on you. Hopefully, you can actually go to the proper court very, very soon, and you know, get into action with your teammates once again. Alright, so into martial arts, which we haven't really touched on the show, and you know, our Singapore athletes have been keeping fit in the martial arts scene. Amir Han, you know, a beast in the octagon, and he's been keeping fit, and you know, I would not like to be in front of him when he throws a punch. That is for sure, because in this training video, you can actually hear the poof when he hits, you know, and I'm like thinking, if that was your face, you would not be standing up very, very long.
Not long at all. Crazy stuff like this guy.
Again, hoping that a car does not come by and interrupt this video. That's all I'm thinking. But being very creative, I know a lot of footballers are doing it. We've seen
floorball.
Floorball.
Not floorball, but no, even floorball.
Even
one
floorball,
of the early editions.
Many athletes are doing that, and they're making use of the multi-story car park, especially at the top level where you know
there are fewer cars.
Nobody wants to go all the way up, and you have to walk down the staircase, right?
Yeah.
So you know they're going up there and you know keeping fit and just being creative. This is Coach Fikri. He is the Silat head coach for Singapore, and he's got the moves, man. He might be a little older. But Suhaila, Sheikh Firdaus will have something to say about this when they see this video. Very, very slick in his movement.
I think we've seen people be creative and working out, not just literally from home, but even the vicinity of their homes and being creative and expressing. It goes to show what we talked about in one of our first episodes, how cabin fever has struck a lot of
Yes.
our athletes.
Yeah.
I think it has continued on. It's a good sign because everyone is so passionate about the sport that they represent
Yeah.
and even about fitness and about keeping healthy, basically.
And finally, we'll touch on table tennis. And I have to say, John, if we were to give a report card at the end of COVID-19, or once we go into phase 2 and sports starts, being more prevalent in Singapore, I think we should do a report card on how the different associations have dealt with the circuit breaker and with phase 1 with their athletes and engaging with the community. And I think STTA, the Singapore Table Tennis Association, I think you would get an A from me personally, because you have been very engaging with your content, in your trick shots, in featuring your athletes in what they do. I mean, I'm learning that your athletes love to watch K-drama a lot at night, and
Yep.
that's
Yep.
news to me. And this is another example of a trick shot that STTA have been putting up and asking their athletes to do.
Very creative.
Now, no ping pong paddle or bats. It's just using a cup, and you can do this at home. And just flip it and just catch it. That's hand-eye coordination to its max right there.
Quite a different level, and I don't know. Judging by the luck that I've been having in recent
Yes.
challenges, I don't think I'll be able to execute that anywhere near as smoothly as what you just saw there.
Well, it's been a great episode of the Wednesday Report. In terms of challenges, we started it with the Milo challenge of the weekend. We want you, of course, to get involved. Do send us your videos. How high can you stack up those Milo cans? And of course, if at the end of it you feel thirsty, have a little drink of Milo, because it's marvelous what Milo can do for you.
That's all you have for us from this week's The Wednesday Report, and we'll see you this Friday.
See ya.